Yo, I wanted to do a build about women. I know I did a couple of videos, black women treatment, message to the women part 1, message to the women part 2, young parenting, and teaching the children. However, I was brought, to this topic because it was very important. So I feel the need to share and show my quality to all those women out there who are dire need of bringing forth understanding of what's going on, what's taking place, and how you should be able to deal with situations and circumstances accordingly. One thing that you have to understand, that's for sure, there are 4 D's in life that a woman, black woman, Puerto Rican, white, wherever, or whatever nationality you are, should never have to face. And that is demoralizing, dehumanizing, disrespect, and degradation or degrading. The reason why I bring up those 4 D's is because a lot of times women compromise their morals, their values, their standards for a lot of men out here that are not really doing anything for them. And it brings forth a misunderstanding, because what ends up happening is you begin to become a savage in pursuit of happiness. And what that means is that you're constantly chasing a dream that you'll never be able to catch. For instance, if you see a man out here getting money, selling drugs, doing this thing, got bread in his pocket, handling his business, and that kind of brings a sort of attraction to you, you have to ask yourself, what type of attraction brought me forth to this conclusion of me wanting to deal with this person? Might be because he getting money, might be because of what you see, how he's staying fresh and everything. But in the same sense, suppose you engage in a relationship with this man, and this man is disrespecting you, demoralizing you, dehumanizing you, and degrading you all at the same time. Should you put up with that type of endeavor? Should you tolerate that? My answer to that is now cipher. The reason why is because if you have children and you got different men around your children, you have men going in and out of your house almost each and every night, that's not a way to live your life, because overall what you're saying to your children is, it's okay for mommy to have these different men in and out of my house, and none of them are going to be with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show and prove to you that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as long as I get what I want. And that's what you call a savage in pursuit of happiness. Because if you have to do all that to compromise, accommodate somebody else's situation or circumstance, then you don't need to be in that situation. You really don't. You really need to evaluate yourself, sit down with yourself, analyze a couple things, observe a couple things with yourself, and do some cross-examination and self-analysis and introspection. Because you're sending your children, if you have young boys, that it's okay for mommy to sleep around, so it's okay for you to do the same thing with other women, sleep around with different women. And like I said before, message to the woman is that if you are wearing all different types of apparel that brings forth this type of attention, and it's attracting that men are paying attention to you, giving you that attention that you're looking for, then that's not some thing that you want to stay with and be involved with. Because overall you're going to end up having your child look at you as a person that is not really leading by example or being a good mother. Boys look for in a woman, love, nurturance, companionship, understanding, and all of the motherly attributes that a woman is supposed to carry as having a child. Now, as a father, a boy would look for strength, wisdom, experience, guidance, teaching. You know what I'm saying? A good role model. And that should be something that should be seriously taken into consideration, because you don't want your child out here in these streets where there's nothing in these streets but death, destruction, and violence. You know what I'm saying? Suppose your child gets older and ends up going through that experience. You know, if you have a girl, she gonna do the same thing that you're doing. She gonna see you with different men every day. She gonna be with different men every day. Your son see you with different men every day. He gonna be with different women because he thinks that's the okay thing to do, which is not. So the point that I'm stressing is that women that are not doing the knowledge to themselves are bound to go into a direction where they don't want to head down, or a path that they don't want to go down. And then what's going to end up happening is you're going to go too far down that road, and what's going to end up going on is you're going to be so far out and so far gone that it's going to come to a point where you're going to be caught out on that way of life. It's like it's going to pull you and pull you, and it's going to constantly have a grip upon you that you ain't going to be able to release. And that's just the truth for the matter. You know, every woman, every man that has children should lead by example to their children, because they don't want their children to go through what they went through. You know, it's supposed to be a learning experience for them. It's supposed to be a building block to be able to look at them and be able to strive to leave a legacy with them in a better light, instead of the light that you got them under. You know, like I said, these are the 4 D's that a woman should never, ever have to experience and go through. That's disrespect, that's degradation, dehumanization, and demoralization. You should never have to go through that in your life as long as you live, because that's not the way you was brought up. That is definitely not. Now, when you look at the knowledge God degree in the 1 to 40, it talks about what is the meaning of civilization. And it says one having knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement, and is not a savage in pursuit of happiness. So this means that if you know what it means to be civil, then you'll know what it means to be civilized, and then you'll definitely know what the meaning of civilization is. You feel what I'm saying? You have a certain mannerism that you live up to in society. You have a certain way that you conduct yourself in society, and that's your way of life. And this is what you give off to people and expose to people. If you're a whore in the streets, you a prostitute, a slut, or whatever, and I'm just keeping it real from a real live perspective, a man perspective, any woman can concur with what I'm saying, then there's no reason for you to get mad when somebody calls or pulls your card about who you are as a person. Because you expose yourself to the streets, and the streets know about your history or your Quran that you wrote. So you're the one that lays the foundation. And when you look at the knowledge God degree in the supreme alphabet, it says queen. A queen is a righteous black woman who practices righteous sovereignty through ways and actions. Between 1 and 7 and 6. And 6 is equality. Equality is the idea of being able to share your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with other people, and knowing your duty and responsibilities to those that are around you in your circumference or in your cipher. And that's including your family. So I just trust and will that a lot of women get this message. And I'm not trying to lead you down a path of like, oh shit, he's trying to kick this knowledge shit, and you know, he ain't, what makes him better than that. I'm not saying what makes me better. I'm trying to send a message out to every woman out there who's going through that situation. Young, old, you know what I'm saying, mid-age. Don't go through that, because you don't want your children to experience that. Different men in your house, you know what I'm saying, they beating on you, or whatever the case may be. That's a savage in pursuit of happiness, and that's also a hostile situation, and a hostage situation. And you shouldn't have to degrade yourself, demoralize yourself, dehumanize yourself, and disrespect yourself for that reason. And this is why I'm bringing it to you. So know yourself and know your worth. Alright? I'm only looking out for you. I ain't trying to do nothing to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. Equality is to show people what you know, and what you experience, and what you see. That's the best way of showing your equality to a black woman. And that's all I have to say. Alright? Peace.